Howdy everyone, welcome back to the BCR garage. I am the Bruce City Rider and I got a little road glide upgrade for you today. When I got my road glide, I made a decision that I wasn't going to spend a lot of money on odds and ends. Basically just buy things that made it more comfortable or made it perform better. I went whole hog on my Softail that you've probably seen in some vids, and I told myself that I wouldn't do that again. Today I'm making a slight exception, except this does have some mechanical benefits to it as well. I'm going to change out the shift linkage on my 2013 Road Glide Custom from that butt ugly factory one to this nice billet aluminum chrome one with the Heim joints. That's one of the failure points on the factory shift linkage, because it's got a pressed in ball joint and they can wear out and pop out and then leave you stranded. So I got this pretty cheap too. I wasn't going to spend $150 on the Harley ones or any of the other big aftermarket companies. So I just got this off Amazon. It had a lot of good reviews. They got a lot of different styles. And I thought this one looked pretty slick and understated, but much better than the factory one. So to some of the tools you may need, you're going to need some 1/2 inch and 7/16 inch wrenches, preferably with a ratcheting feature. It just makes it easier. And you don't need this, but you're supposed to torque the nuts, the adjustment nuts on the shift linkage. There's a factory spec for that, and I'm all about the torque specs. I know some guys aren't. So I got my inch-pound torque wrench here. And then here's the hardware that came with the shift linkage. And then you'll need some blue Loctite for these new bolts. I'm also going to probably wear a pair of gloves, because it's pretty easy to bust your knuckles on the fins on your jugs. This did come with a little bit of an instruction sheet, and I did look up the factory torque spec for the adjustment nuts. It's like it says here, 80 to 120 inch-pounds. Now surprisingly, I couldn't find a torque spec on the fitting for these bolts. Nothing in the service manual. So I looked online and I did find a few people talking about what they thought it was, or maybe they got it from their manual on a different year bike. Mine's a 2013. But everybody was all over the place. They were all different. So I'm just going to use the old snug it up on those with the blue Loctite, and they should be good to go. And then if I do end up torquing it, you'll need a crow's foot for that. And since my inch-pound torque wrench is a 1/4 inch, I'll need a 1/4 inch to 3/8 adapter to work on my crow's foot. All right, let's get wrenching. Okay, here's my 2013 Road Glide Custom in candy orange that we're going to be working on. And here's the factory shift linkage. In my opinion, one of the ugliest parts that come on these bikes, and it's prominent right here, jutting out from the engine. So it's time to get rid of that. Now it did not give me any problems. This is the ball joint I was talking about. Everything still seems nice and snug. I'm just changing it, number one, for looks, and number two, to possibly help me out in the future as I get some more miles on this guy and maybe it starts wearing out. Okay, I got my 7/16 wrench I'm going to put it on the front nut, and I'm just going to hold that one, and then 1/2 inch wrench on the back, and this is the one I'm going to break. All right, here we go. And she's broke. And like I said, be careful working around these fins because your hands are right up next to them, because they will cut you up. See if I can get it with my fingers now. Alright, before I take that off, I'm going to break the rear. And this is just the one nut, nothing to hold. It threads into the shifter linkage arm right here. And this is a 7/16. And this set also comes with a chrome cover to cover this transmission shift link arm. Okay, the rear is off. Take that washer. Now we're going to maintain the setting on this because this is how we're going to measure up our new one. Okay, now I'm going to make sure these are nice and straight on the old one, and then I'm going to place it into the holes on the, or the heim joints on the new one, and make them the same. That way my toe shifter should be in the same spot. I'm going to try to just adjust a little bit on each side as I go. And that looks good. So I'll snug up the locking nuts and do the final torque on the bike. This is the ball joint. See how it moves in there? It's a ball that's just pressed in, and over time it can wear and it can pop out and leave you stranded. Now mine is perfectly fine, but I don't have a ton of miles on my bike yet. And here's what the heim joint looks like up close. It's captured inside this metal here and kind of rotates like a ball bearing in there. It's supposed to be a lot more secure and trouble-free. Okay, I'm going to start with the rear. So I got my bolt here, and like I said, this arm is threaded. So get you some blue Loctite on there. You put the washer on the inside of this cover. Through the cover and washer. and then get it finger started. Okay, she's snugged up. I'll work on the front. So the bolt goes in from the back, through the heim joint. Some blue Loctite. And then the acorn nut. Wipe off the excess. Now I'm going to snug down the lock nuts before I torque them. .14mm wrench. All right, they're snug down. Okay, got my torque wrench set up, and again the spec was 80 to 120 inch-pounds. I got it set up for 110, and I got my crow's foot on a 90-degree angle. Alright, just want to make sure I got this snug, and then we'll wrap this up. Okay. Alright, there she is. It was a bit harder than I thought, but that's a major improvement in looks, and hopefully it'll last me a good long time. We'll see how this chrome aluminum stands up to the elements, but I sure like the way it looks. Alright, all that's left is to take her out for a test drive, make sure I'm satisfied with how she's shifting. If not, I can always adjust these lock nuts and twist the linkage in and out. Otherwise, you can take off your heel toe shifters and just change the orientation on the spline. There's a lot of different positions you can put it on. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed that. Hope it was helpful. Time for a ride. BCR signing out. Later guys.